Oh, hello, welcome to LFK. This week's episode is titled Love for Kansas, due to the occasion of Valentine's Day. I'm your co-host, Luke Hutner, and this is your co-host,
Derek Johnson.
Welcome to the show. We here at LFK know that sometimes it can be difficult to know when someone is flirting with you. That's why Derek Johnson did you a solid by going out on the scene to investigate flirting.
Many know what flirting is, but they find it hard to define it. In order to define this intangible word, we met with Associate Professor in Communications Studies, Jeffrey Hall.
So the 5 flirting styles are sincere, polite, traditional, playful, and physical. And each one of these flirting styles represents kind of a dominant dispositional manner of conveying attraction. So the idea being is that each one of these ways of flirting shows how you communicate your attraction or romantic interest in another person. The physical flirting style communicates it through body language and through nonverbal behavior. The sincere flirting style makes a connection that's emotional, so it tries to ask questions and use self-disclosure. The playful flirting style flirts for their own sake. They're trying to get a free drink, they're trying to change a grade, they're trying to get out of a parking ticket. That's the playful flirting style. The polite flirting style is one that's minding its P's and Q's, that's really well-mannered, it's really careful and cautious. And the last flirting style is the traditional style. The traditional style conveys attraction essentially through this sort of traditional courtship arrangement where men are the aggressor and women are more passive. Women tend to be a little bit more coy and men tend to be a little more kind of dominant and more aggressive. Women who are traditional are most traditional at the college aged. So you'd think of traditional in terms of gender roles, men being this way and women being that way, as something maybe an older generation might buy. But instead we find that women who are between the ages of 18 and 24 are the most likely to be traditional.
Besides investigating the 5 flirting styles, we also asked which was the most effective.
What are you trying to achieve? What is it that you want to get out of it? So people who are really polite, for example, who are these mind their P's and Q's and very careful and cautious, they tend to be really effective when they're looking for a long-term relationship. They take a long time to figure out who they're interested in. They tend not to flirt outside of the relationship once they're in it. But people who are playful are really effective at picking somebody up at a bar or club, using flirting just to sort of make themselves feel good. But they're not terribly good at developing any sort of relationship, either long-term or short-term. So each one of these kind of has different things that it's good at. So it really kind of depends on what your goal is.
Finally, we asked Dr. Hall about flirtatious actions.
Women who are being flirtatious tend to do a couple things. They use illustrators, which means they talk with their hands in a way to illustrate what they're talking about. They tend to use a coy smile and a coy gaze, which means that they smile and look away, or they look and then look away. Those are the coy smile and the coy gaze. Women who are flirting also tend to laugh more, and they tend to be more sort of expressive in that sense. And women also might actually do things like touch their hair or fix their clothes or things like that. Now men, on the other hand, there's a couple things that they do. Men who are more flirtatious tend to stare or look really directly at somebody that they're interested in. And they also, right before that they go and approach somebody, like at a bar setting, they tend to actually move their bodies up, spread their chest out a little bit, and sort of, scan the sort of environment they're in. They don't look at the people that they've come to the bar or the club with. They look out at the potential people that they might meet.
If you really want to get good at picking up chicks, grab a copy of The 5 Flirting Styles by Jeffrey Hall.
Since it would be quite awkward to introduce my own segment, here is a very unprepared Derek Johnson to do it for me.
I'm here. And here's Luke Hutner with LFK.com.
This week on LFK.com, we start with some uplifting pseudo-news. If you've been in the Twittersphere recently, you've undoubtedly heard that Clippers baller Blake Griffin put a half-naked, uncooperative Justin Bieber in his place with an open-handed smack that sent the young pop star sprawling to the floor and scrambling out the door crying. The much-retweeted story states that a shirtless Bieber attempted to order from Starbucks with a no-shirt, no-shoes policy. When the barista refused to serve Bieber his caramel apple macchiato, Bieber flew into a rage and threatened to the poor barista. The Post claims that this is when a fed-up Blake Griffin smacked Bieber, knocking him to the floor. Much to the delight of everybody who isn't a preteen girl, Bieber reportedly left the coffee shop crying. Now before you put a stamp on that thank you card you've undoubtedly just finished writing to Blake Griffin, I have some bad news. The story has been deemed fake. I'm just as disappointed as you are. Moving on, we had a cold week in Lawrence, but don't let that freeze your heart. Valentine's Day is coming up, and cool, creative, funny ways to woo your significant other have been popping up all over the place. Tom from Tom and Jerry proves that he is the alpha cat with his impressive smoke trick skills. You can just see her heart flutter. If you're not a smoker, then here are some punny cards that might just do the trick. If you're a punny guy who likes to live dangerously, give this one a go, but don't blame me if it all goes wrong. If you've got a lover who values brutal honesty over everything, you might want to get him something like this. This card probably isn't your best bet though, as your SO will likely feel undervalued. But hey, if you can pull it off, you can pull it off. If you're desperate for ideas or just looking to embarrass your loved ones, the Twitter handle @theVDayCard has some abrasive yet genius Valentine's Day cards. If you're looking for date ideas, Mac Shack has you covered with its special Valentine's Day candle-lit meal. My buddy Peter took a girl here last year and she was so happy she willingly shared her fries. If nothing up there works for you, then you can always do the tried and true, bacon roses. I know I'd rather smell bacon than roses. Also, you don't need to worry about these flowers dying because they're already dead. That does it for LFK.com. Happy Valentine's Day. I'll see you all on Chat Roulette. I hope you've enjoyed the show so far. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. I know how you feel. You feel different, out of place. You feel like you'll never find somebody to love. But fear no longer. For now, at narcolepticsonly.com, you can be matched with couples who share your love for sleep. Many other dating websites will just put you to sleep with the boring people that they connect you with, but not us. Come now to narcolepticsonly.com and find the man or woman of your inconveniently timed dreams. Welcome back. Now our resident movie expert Juan Pablo Marroquin will tell you about some awesome Valentine's Day flicks that you can watch with your boo.
Hello, and welcome to Classy Classics with Juan Pablo. I'm your host, Juan Pablo Marroquin, and in this segment of the show, we like to talk about the movies that we love and the movies that you are going to love. This week, it is, of course, the day of love, Valentine's Day. Everybody has a favorite romantic comedy or romance film that they all watch, whether they have their significant other or they're alone eating ice cream. Today we will discuss 5 movies that you may have heard of or may not have heard of that are perfect to watch on this day. Number 5, we have Jerry Maguire. At first glance, this movie about a sports agent who's having troubles in his business might not be the ideal romantic film. However, as the film progresses, we have lots of themes about love, family, commitment, and sports. So if your significant other is a sports fanatic, he or she will definitely love this film.
Shut up. You had me at hello. You had me at hello.
The number 4 movie on our list is a 2013 film called About Time. The film is a story of a 21-year-old who on New Year's Eve, after a horrendous night, discovers that he can travel through time. By doing so, he realized that the most important thing in his entire life is love, and finding that perfect woman. Although at first it's a bit tumultuous in how he tries to find that woman, he ultimately meets Rachel McAdams, who of course is well known for her romantic comedies and her beautiful looks, and they fall in love. It's hilarious, and I felt that, It is hilarious, and I felt that there was enough emotion to it to add depth throughout the entire film. By the end of it, it's not so much about how funny it was, but how you feel at the end. You feel emotional, you feel for the characters. I guarantee you there is not a single dry eye in the entire audience after watching that movie.
I hope I see you again.
You will. My whole life depends on it.
The third film on our list is High Fidelity. This 2000 film stars John Cusack, Tim Robbins, and Catherine Zeta-Jones. It is a story of a man who, at the beginning of the film, is broken up by the woman he loves. Although that may sound thoroughly depressing, it is also a film about lists, rock and roll, and finding yourself. At the start, although he is heartbroken, he starts to list out his 5 best girlfriends, his 5 favorite moments with girls, and the 5 reasons why he misses his girlfriend. It is hilarious, heartfelt, and has Jack Black singing Marvin Gaye, which we all know is pretty fantastic.
I'm tired of everything else for that matter. But I don't ever seem to get tired of you. So.
I think I know what you mean. But were you really expecting me to say yes?
I don't know. I didn't think about it really. I thought asking was the important part.
Well, you've asked. Thank you.
The second film on our list is Shakespeare in Love. This film is for the inner thespian. It is in Shakespearean language. It is long, a little slow, but it is romantic beyond anything you've probably ever seen. It takes place at the time when Shakespeare was writing Romeo and Juliet. There are parallels between his relationship and the one in the play. Many comedic moments are seen throughout the film, but it really captures the essence of people who are starstruck or love at first sight. Starring Gwyneth Paltrow and Joseph Fiennes, the film was nominated for 9 Academy Awards and is considered a romantic classic from the 90s.
I left 14 of my teeth, and yet to my teeth be it spoken I have none.
The last film on our list is not one film, but 3. The Before trilogy. The film, directed by Richard Linklater and starring Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke, is unlike any other romantic film. Most of them have quirky plot lines or are cliché in what they do, but this film takes a different approach. The first one, Before Sunrise, was filmed in 1995 and is the story of a man who meets a woman on a train in Vienna, Austria, and they get off and spend a night together, talking about life, religion, love, childhood. It is entirely a film about talking. There is no explosions in this one. But as the film reaches its end and the two spend their lovely night together, you start to get a sense of who they are as people. And in doing so, you find something that not a lot of films really do in cinema. The second film, 8 years later, is the same concept, but their lives have changed. So the character traits are different, and they have become more mature adults. This time the film takes place in Paris. Before Sunset is a little bit shorter, and is more about them rekindling their relationship after the events of 8 years before. He is now a successful writer, and she is also a writer. The third film, and the last one, which was released 8 years later, last year, in 2013, is Before Midnight. At this point in their lives, they are now married and have children. This one is a lot more personal. It's about family and, well, a bit more depressing. But all in all 3 films maintain that theme of love and triumph and all that warm, heartfelt feelings that we all love in movies.
I want to keep talking to you. You know, I have no idea what your situation is, but I feel like we have some kind of connection, right?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, right. Well, great. So listen, here's the deal. This is what we should do. You should get off the train with me here in Vienna and come check out the town.
What?
That's our list for this segment. I hope that you enjoy them. I hope that you all have a wonderful Valentine's Day with your significant other, or even if you're alone and you are just crying your eyes out. Doesn't matter, because there's always somebody there for you. Thank you.
We sent out our very own Sarah and Leah to get the word on the street about Valentine's Day.
What are you doing for Valentine's Day? Unless someone asks me out, I'll probably just stay at home and watch Netflix.
Hang out with my mom.
I have no clue. I need to figure it out.
Eat Jade Garden takeout.
Go up to Cloud 9 on that day.
Probably I'll go with lots of girls.
Go out to dinner with my girlfriend.
Hanging out with my friends.
No special girl, probably one, but I want to go with more than one.
I'm gonna go see my friend's band play, Hammerlord.
My plan is actually to do the Chipotle thing. If I kiss someone in Chipotle, I get a free burrito.
Nothing. I don't have a Valentine.
Do you have a favorite Valentine's Day memory?
I think we went ice skating one year. That was pretty fun.
No, they're all terrible. As a child, my parents would actually get us gifts for Valentine's Day.
I received a teddy bear once in middle school, so that was really nice.
Do you have a least favorite Valentine's Day memory?
Second grade we had to make box and I forgot to make a box and then I didn't get any Valentines.
It's just like another day for me.
Awkward high school Valentine's Day dances.
Not having a date.
If you could ask out any of the basketball players, who would you ask out?
Wiggins. Looks like he has a good future ahead of him. God, where do I begin?
Perry Ellis for sure.
Embiid seems like the most successful one.
Brandon Green? None. No.
Selden. I love his eyes.
No one?
No.
Embiid, just because I like him tall.
Targ Black.
How do you feel about being single on Valentine's Day?
Half-price chocolate afterwards.
I feel great about being single on Valentine's Day.
Well, this year I'm just excited that I actually have a girlfriend on Valentine's Day.
Are you guys in love?
I am in love. Hopefully he is too.
Don't let some of those opinions give you the blues. Here's Laura with your rapid fire world news.
Hello, this is Laura with Rapid Fire World News. Valentine's Day often makes or breaks relationships, and it seems that our favorite terrorist group, Al-Qaeda, just broke up with the ISIS, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. The ISIS has been fighting with itself too much recently, and as Katy Perry would say, they are too hot and cold for Al-Qaeda to handle. There doesn't appear to be too much love in the Middle East, probably because Scotland is soaking it all up since they just passed a same-sex marriage bill. Expect a lot of destination weddings soon. The Ukraine government isn't going to feel the love from its people anytime soon unless they stop trying to go back to their bad boy ex-Russia and actually go on a date with the European Union. But on the bright side, the apple of my eye, the beautiful David Beckham, is starting his own soccer team and franchise in Miami. Good luck, David, and will you be my Valentine? This is Rapid Fire World News. You are beautiful, Lawrence, Kansas.